The Galaxy Note 10 Lite is the most affordable version of the Galaxy Note 10. It features the same S Pen that debuted with the Galaxy Note 9. The Galaxy Note 10 Lite doesn't have a flagship grade AMOLED display, but still it's pretty good. The screen has the usual AMOLED strengths, wide viewing angles, deep blacks and vivid colors. The Galaxy Note 10 Lite's front side is covered with a 6.7-inch Infinity O display with a punch hole in the center and tiny bezels. Since it isn't a flagship phone, the Note 10 Lite's bezels are slightly bigger at the top and bottom than the bezels on the Note 10 Plus. It may not look as pretty as the Galaxy S10 Lite, but the Note 10 Lite does have something much more useful to make up for it, a headphone jack. Now let's talk about the S Pen. Samsung's stylus has remained unmatched by the competition in the 9 years since it was introduced with the first Galaxy Note. The S Pen has been an excellent tool for taking notes and unleashing your artistic side, and the Note 10 Lite brings you the exact same stylus experience as the Galaxy Note 10 at a more affordable price. The Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Lite is powered by the Exynos 9810 chipset, not the Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 chipset like the Galaxy S10 Lite. This smartphone is available in two variants. The base variant has 6GB of RAM and 128GB of storage, and 8GB of RAM and the same 128GB of storage. The camera module on the Galaxy Note 10 Lite is made of three 12MP cameras. The primary one has an 1.7 aperture as well as an optical image stabilization. The wide-angle camera has an 2.2 aperture and the telephoto camera has an 2.4 aperture. At the front, there is a 32MP shooter with a 2.2 aperture. The camera app will be familiar to Samsung users, and there are multiple shooting modes including food, night, super slow-mo and a pro mode. Photos taken in the day had good details. The wide-angle camera delivers the same color tone as the primary camera, which is a good thing. However, you will notice distortion at the edges of the wide-angle photos. These shots were also low on details. Video recording maxes out at 4K 60fps for the primary camera and 4K 30fps for the selfie shooter. The output is stabilized when shooting at 4K as well as 1080p, and you do have the option to switch between the three rear cameras while shooting. The Galaxy Note 10 Lite does a good job at stabilizing video. This device is powered by a 4500 mAh battery with 25W fast charging support. The iPhone SE has exactly the same design and display as the iPhone 8 from 2017. Although the flagship iPhone range has moved to an all-screen design, the iPhone SE is the exception. It's a very well-made handset with the same glass and aluminum design of the iPhone 8. There are three color options for the iPhone SE: black, white and product red. It also has IP67 water resistance. The phone have a 4.7-inch LCD screen. The screen is bright and colorful. You won't have any issues viewing the screen outdoors when surfing the web or taking photos. The panel also supports the True Tone, which means it can automatically adjust the screen's color temperature based on the ambient lighting conditions. While Android phone makers outfit their budget phones with weaker processors, the iPhone SE packs the same state-of-the-art A13 Bionic chip as the iPhone 11 and iPhone 11 Pro. This means you will enjoy the same fast and responsive performance. The new iPhone SE also has 3GB of RAM. Like the iPhone 8, the iPhone SE features a single 12MP rear camera and a 7MP front camera. You don't get an ultra-wide-angle lens like the iPhone 11 or a telephoto lens with optical zoom like the iPhone 11 Pro. But the A13 Bionic chip boosts the camera performance of the iPhone SE in several ways. The camera is so good that it's hard to tell the difference between it and the iPhone 11 in many cases. You will be surprised by the level of detail taken with the iPhone SE. You can record 4K video at 30fps and capture 240fps video at 1080p resolution. The iPhone SE is rated for less battery life than the iPhone 11, so you shouldn't expect longer battery life. It comes with a 1821 mAh battery with 18W fast charge support. Realme X50 Pro 5G is the second flagship smartphone by the company after the X2 Pro. Realme X50 Pro features an aluminum glass sandwich design with a layer of Gorilla Glass 5 both on the front and back. It is a bit smaller than the X2 Pro but slightly heavier due to a bigger battery and new processor. The rear panel of the phone has a OnePlus 7-like smooth matte finish that feels good in the hand. Realme X50 Pro features a 6.44-inch Full HD Plus resolution Super AMOLED screen with dual punch-hole cutouts for two front-facing cameras. This gives the screen a 20:9 aspect ratio, which is decent for watching videos or movies on the phone. The display has a 90Hz high refresh rate, which means that you will notice smoother transitions while scrolling, browsing, watching videos or playing games. The screen is also certified for HDR10+ playback. There is a wide range of options available to make the screen more comfortable to view. Realme X50 Pro is powered by a state-of-the-art Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 chipset with an octa-core CPU and Adreno 650 GPU. This flagship processor is 25% faster and more efficient than the previous generation chipsets. It is also the first smartphone in India to ship with Snapdragon 865 5G chipset. This is further supported by a 6GB/8GB/12GB RAM. Realme X50 Pro uses an upgraded vapor cooling system for the thermal management with faster heat dissipation across 6 layers of graphite sheet, vapor chamber, copper foil and silica. This helps the phone sustain peak performance when playing graphics-intensive games for hours. We played a bunch of different games on it, such as Call of Duty Mobile, PUBG Mobile, Asphalt 9 and so on. This phone can easily power all the major titles that you can think of without breaking a sweat. Realme X50 Pro features a quad camera setup which consists of a primary 64 megapixel camera that uses Samsung GW1 sensor with an 1.8 aperture, another 12 megapixel telephoto lens with 20x hybrid zoom, an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle lens with an 119 degree field of view, and finally a 2 megapixel monochrome lens for portrait mode. On the front, there's a pair of selfie cameras with a 32 megapixel Sony IMX616 sensor and an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle lens with a 105 degree field of view. The cameras on the X50 Pro are capable of recording 4K video at 30 fps, full HD slow motion videos at 120 fps, real-time bokeh video and more. Realme X50 Pro has a decent set of cameras that are versatile. The cameras are capable of making sharp and detailed pictures with close to natural colors. The dynamic range is also decent, and there are features like chroma boost to increase the saturation and vibrancy in pictures. Realme X50 Pro comes with a 4200 mAh battery with support for 65W super dart charging and 18W power delivery charging. This is an even speedier fast charging standard than the one we have seen on the Realme X2 Pro, and the company claims that their super dart solution is capable of topping up the phone from 0% to 100% in just 30 minutes. Realme X50 Pro is a really powerful smartphone packing in the latest and greatest with Snapdragon 865 chip from Qualcomm. It fulfills all the necessary requirements of being a flagship phone. The smartphone is integrated with a big screen of 6.55 inches AMOLED capacitive touchscreen. The screen of the device is protected by Corning Gorilla Glass 6. The Reno 4 Pro has a curved display with 90Hz refresh rate and HDR10+ support. The notchless display is embedded with an in-screen fingerprint reader. This device is powered by Qualcomm Snapdragon 765G 5G processor, which is the world's fastest sub-6 GHz 5G chipset. Along with 8GB or 12GB of RAM, depending on the variation you are buying, this device delivers outstanding overall performance for opening and running applications, flipping through menus and running home screens and more. You can play most of the games without any trouble. Oppo Reno 4 Pro 5G packs triple rear camera setup with a 48 megapixel main camera sensor with optical image stabilization, a 12 megapixel 120 degree ultra wide angle sensor, and a 13 megapixel telephoto shooter with 5x optical zoom and 20x digital zoom support. The dedicated light sensor enables the camera to capture more light in dark environments for better pictures. The top edge of the phone includes a 32 megapixel selfie camera with features such as RAW HDR and self timer. You can record 4K video at 30 fps. Pictures taken with this device usually delivers great quality in daytime. Even in darker light condition, you can expect to capture decent pictures. Oppo Reno 4 Pro 5G comes with Oppo's ultra clear low light algorithm, which helps you capture clear and colorful night videos. It is powered by an impressive 4000 mAh battery with 65W fast charging support. There is a ultra power saving mode which lets you keep your phone powered on for longer in between charges. This mode changes your screen to black and white and shuts down all unnecessary features to dramatically minimize battery consumption. The Mi Note 10 Pro brings all the features of a top-end phone but without the top-end price tag. It's got a beautiful curved edged screen with a 6.47-inch Super AMOLED display. The colors really pop, max brightness is pretty high, images look textured and contrast is good. At the top of the screen there is a small teardrop notch in the center which houses the front-facing camera. There is a Snapdragon 730G chipset here paired with 8GB of RAM, which is a decent mid-range processor that's optimized for gaming. The headline feature of the Xiaomi Mi Note 10 Pro is its camera. The 108-megapixel main sensor is the first of its kind on a smartphone in the world, and it's such an important part of the phone's identity and Xiaomi's marketing strategy. There are 5 lenses on the back. The main camera is 108 megapixel. An optical image stabilizer for the main lens is on board, as is a flash. The main rear camera is joined by a 12 megapixel sensor with 2x telephoto lens for the portrait mode, a second telephoto snapper, this one with 5x zoom and 5 megapixel sensor for zoom shot, another 20 megapixel ultra-wide camera, and finally a 2 megapixel macro snapper. The main 108 megapixel camera takes absolutely incredible shots. Forget the iPhone 11 Pro, Huawei P30 or even Realme X50 Pro. This phone takes some of the best looking pictures you will get from a smartphone. Everything here is on point, colors are rich, contrast is great and images are bright. Also you can record 4K video at 30 fps. On the front, the Xiaomi Mi Note 10 Pro has a 32 megapixel camera housed in the teardrop notch, and it comes with various filters and features. Selfies looked pretty vibrant and high quality. The Xiaomi Mi Note 10 Pro's battery capacity is 5260 mAh, which is a lot bigger than what you get in most modern smartphones. It also supports 30-watt fast charging. The Xiaomi Mi Note 10 Pro is a powerhouse in so many ways, and we can definitely recommend buying this phone.